Hello and welcome to this video about pedagogy for transformation and evolution. My name is Harriet Fagerholm and I have been working as a co-creative guide, but I'm also a trained teacher in professional education and I also work as a healer.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Subirana. I'm from Spain, but I spent 30 years of my life in Nepal, opening schools for the marginalized children and working for destitute communities.
And this video series we have been co-creating is about the power of the mind and above all the evolution of the mind. And we have the big mission of sharing how these practices can transform the world we are living in. And this video is about transforming the relationship to yourself. And I will share about the work I have been developing over the last 12 years now after having my severe burnout and a crisis in my health. It was like my whole system fell apart and I heard the voice saying, change or die, that something was terribly wrong inside my being. So I went on a quest to heal myself. And what I learned was that I'm the creator of my reality. And I have the power to choose how I relate to myself, to things, to the world, to life. Because life is constantly surprising me. And I'm sure there are many of you who share this experience. And I know Victoria has had a lot of surprises also provided by life. Life throws, challenges, adversities into your lap. And you are sitting with it. Okay, what to do with this? How do I cope? How do I manage? How do I even survive? There are so many people all over the world struggling with survival at the moment. And those of us who have got up from that mode might still notice that we are constantly, put again in the same survival mode. So my quest has been about, I need to transform the relationship to myself. And In Tune guidance is showing us what areas we should be aware of when we are transforming ourselves. And now I talk about us adults, because what we shared in the previous video about the Ensemble for Evolution, about the practice Victoria has done with her young students starting from the age of 5, they have become aware of the relationship to themselves. They on a daily basis put up objectives. How do I want to improve my character? How do I want to share to my family? How am I willing to contribute to the society? But me and most of us, all other people in the world, we have not received this training. So that to transform the relationship to yourself has become for me the most important quest. And I have gone within. I have learned how to become still myself, to listen to what is really going on inside myself. So one of the gates to becoming in tune with yourself and your environment is to listen to your body and the nature within you, life, the creative impulse, the evolutionary impulse, because life is constantly working in you. You are constantly in motion through the breathing, which is a part of the Ensemble for Evolution. You become consciously aware of your breath, and breath is life. And you become aware of how your body is communicating to you. Because heart awareness, to live from your heart, to live with love, you need to feel the resonance. It is not an intellectual practice like Victoria showed in the previous video. It's not from here, but you make the choice here. So therefore, you have to be aware all the time about your thinking. So free thinking and above all, loving thoughts has become for me the most important thing. So how do I become aware of my negative thoughts? And how can I transform my beliefs? Because the negative thoughts come from the beliefs I have been conditioned with. And I have realized during these years of self-transformation, learning about myself, that my beliefs really are guiding my patterns, my habits, and my behavior. So I have to transform my beliefs. What do I believe about my possibilities? Can I really embody an empowered belief about my possibilities? Do I really believe I have a choice and I can make an impact? And this is a process that you have to work a lot with, especially because the conditioning is so strong. So it's a constant practice every day. And therefore, the Ensemble for Evolution is such a powerful tool because it integrates both the body awareness and the thought, the awareness of my thinking. Am I really thinking on myself, on my own? Or am I following some patterns that are given to me from the outside? And what are the thoughts that are enhancing life, contributing to well-being and personal growth and also community growth, because they are interlinked. When you learn how to transform yourself, the relationship to yourself, you will automatically transform the people around you. And this is the change we need now worldwide. And we adults, we need to go on this learning quest to transform the relationship to ourselves. And in that, another crucial area is emotions. We will talk more about them in the upcoming videos. Victoria was already talking about the need for becoming aware of how the emotions play out in your behavior, in your reactional patterns. Many of the negative emotions make us react in such a way which is not constructive, and it's not loving, and we are just projecting our, traumas and our, pain and despair on other people. And we are seeking the solution outside instead of looking inside. So in the In-Tune guidance, I always bring people home to themselves, and I create that space where in stillness and presence, they can get in contact with themselves. And that's the same work as Victoria has been doing in her Ensemble for Evolution in the morning assemblies with her children, to every day connect to the essence of who you are, asking the questions, who do I want to become? This is the most crucial work for me now, after 15 years of transforming the relationship to myself. And the emotional awareness and also emotional intelligence has been one of the most crucial ways. I need to identify those devastating emotions of feeling lack of self-worth, the shame taking over, that I am nobody. Who am I to sit here and teach this? This I had to overcome in order to allow now my free expression of my learning. So free expression is another dimension in the In-Tune guidance. I help and support adults to find that free expression through art, artistic ways, through journaling, through movement, through speaking, through painting, through forming, through making. So bringing this expression, your unique expression, into a concrete artifact, a concrete action, even a concrete touch in the right moment, the healing touch to a fellow person who you recognize is in emotional pain. This only can make a huge difference. Your presence, your healing touch can make all the difference to that person. And you don't have to say anything, because you radiate that compassion and that real care for the other person. And you can only reach this state by transforming the relationship to yourself. And in that work, you need to also find the love for yourself. Often when we talk about love, for me, learning about love, because I recognized I didn't know what is love. I can try to think about it on a rational level. But what is love in practice? Love in action? That is what I had to learn. And I had to put myself out there, to expose myself, to show my vulnerabilities, to share with everyone that I'm vulnerable and sometimes I'm really helpless. And that's okay. And I can ask for help, because that is what human beings are all about. We want to help each other. Our souls want to contribute. They want to share. They want to love. They want to reach out. And that is the true human in us. So all the wrong misbeliefs about me being a sinful person, this is the upbringing from the Christian religion, which of course has a sense of that I'm in the transformation, but it's not who I am. Inside, I carry the the seed for love and goodness when I choose to go for it. So these universal values, what we have been talking about in our vision for a universal pedagogy, that shows us the way to this love in action, in everyday life, in our communities, how we relate to ourselves, to each other, so we can show this compassion and so we can evolve together to a new future where we understand that we are all interconnected and we are all here on this planet sharing the universal human values. There are no difference between me in Finland, you in Spain and Nepal. But the conditioning is different. The conditioning of the culture is different. What have we brought up with to believe? But we can change that through our free thinking and with our choice of going our own way. And this is not easy. I'm not saying that. It has been a lot of pain and also a rejection from people who want to stay in their comfortable thinking, or let's say not thinking, just adapting what the environment is feeding to them. So you have to trust your inner truth and ask for the truth, like Victoria was saying in the earlier videos, in her pedagogy for transformation. Truth is at the core of what we want to teach the children already. But we adults, this is a very painful issue to admit to yourself. Am I lying? Am I choosing not to face the truth? Here we have to become really honest about ourselves and understand that the environment, the outside, is mirroring to us what we need to learn about ourselves. And also learn to love those rejected parts of ourselves, like the 3 poisons of the mind, the parts where we are rejecting ourselves and our possibilities. We can be the biggest sabotagers of our own happiness and well-being. And believe me, I have been one of those. And I am learning now to really cherish my happiness in this intuitive guidance. And I do this with adults. And I see the possibility of the transformation for all of us. But as an adult, you need to be aware that it takes work and you have to dedicate to this mission. And we hope with our guidance that we can invite you to this inner work. So Victoria, looking at from the perspective of educating children or educating adults in the same transformation, how do you see the connection?
Well, Harriet has described and has depicted very precisely how, being an adult, she found the child when she had the chance to look at her inner patterns, at her inner construction of the self. Mm-hmm. And there she was, like many other adults that feared not to attempt such exploration. She found herself having an adult body, having accomplished school diplomas, having been certified and majored from excellent universities, having acquired marital status, even having become a mother, she found there herself a child that was completely immature. There she found that little girl who had not been given the chance to work on the evolution of the self on a gradual basis, like she has been given the priorities to become an adult for the so-called established society that sets up patterns, but only in the outer of the personality, neglecting all this emotional evolution that then, in due course of time, will create a terrible pain and suffering, delusion, and lack of confidence, because there is a part from us that is not really matching and encountering the real truth. That's what she spoke about. The real truth is that we have the unknown, the invisible, the part that you cannot see, the unfolded part that is playing a very important role when it comes to relating to ourselves, to our life mission, and the relation between others, peers, siblings, society, workmates. If you do not allow this kind of discovery to grow accordingly, like you gain and master many other skills and abilities, when you grow in your growing process, you find a very big hole in your heart. And only when you enter into conflict, you discover that you don't have the tools for conflict management. You don't have the courage to face your failures. You got pride and ego for nothing, for delusion. You don't know how to cope with the adversity. You find yourself insecure in a world that do not want to see you weak and vulnerable, because they are demanding you to be at all times with a very strong behavior and standing for situations that you have not been prepared for. And that is when you collapse. That is when you find lost in the planet, lost in your life purpose, lost among the family members. And if you are sincere, you get the blame that you have not been given the key to your real success, that is the discovery of the self. And that adult might turn to be a very sensitive human being, open the hands to the new knowledge, because as we know, when we discover such important traits, life, it's a life learning process. Life, it's a non-stop ending until the end of your life. Those who are make up in the frame that because I'm an accomplished PhD, I learned everything possible and I'm so egocentric and so proud that I have nothing else to learn, and I'm not going to allow my difficulties to come to the outer of me, to the surface, so everybody will be, I'm visible to everybody. Everybody will know that I'm not perfect. That kind of people are sinking in the hells being in earth. That kind of people become leaders that are not aware of other people's necessities. They are egoistic. They cannot let the emotions flow accordingly in a positive way. They do not know how to argue with respect, how to describe the opponents still with love and with a little bit of compassion. They are the leaders that are ruining the countries of the world, and they are creating war, creating instability, creating poverty, and the distribution of the wealth is on the hands of those few leaders who did not learn all these patterns when they were small. And we are also like manipulated in our minds to follow such leaders without any discrimination, critical thinking, no capacity of analyzing the profile of such leaders that are dominating the world in a chaotic place to live in. So if we want to change our world tomorrow for the future, we have to start practicing all these beautiful lessons today, because as she said, this transformation is no longer here in our mental awareness. It's from the mental awareness to our words and to our actions, displaying that no matter what, you are in a family, in a group, or in the society, visible or invisible, that's the inner peace we have to emanate. And I give thanks to Harriet, because not many adults have the courage to acknowledge the weakness and the failure and exposure of the truth. But many of us, we want to protect ourselves from being exposed to those emotions because we fear the attacks of a society that is completely fake. There is no a human being who is perfect in earth. I do not believe in prophets. I do not believe in the leader that will not show first his vulnerability and the weakest part, and will admit that he's still on growing. Never believe someone who comes and claims to be the supreme, the one who reaches the highest status. So thanks to that, we come across to the supreme energy, the divine energy, or the supreme energy that we all have to align with. That is the perfect state of mind. The rest, since we are in North, we are all heading towards. And some people are heading backwards. So analyze yourself and find out whether your thoughts, your words, and your actions are leading you up or down.
Yes, exactly, because you have the choice. And I want to tell you that you have that seed inside you, and you can really access that beauty of who you really are with this transformational work. And to have transformational leaders in the world, whether it's in organizations or in country leadership, those leaders that really can understand what is the transformational work they are here to do. What are they here to serve? How can they serve their communities through their work in the most powerful way? That requires the humility to constantly learn. And I realized also why pedagogy is here at the key role. I realized the failure of how the religious teachings have been brought to me. The pedagogy has not worked for me, at least, and I know that there are many people who are sharing this view as well. So how do we really teach these universal principles of us sharing the divine presence? How do we connect to it directly in our own being? And the pedagogy also at the schools, in the school system, neglecting this cultivation of the self, cultivation the right relationship to ourselves as a unique being with an innate self-worth and dignity, which is in us because that is given by the divine, not by humans. So this is a big quest, and we invite you to join us. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.